Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special Friday Night in America here on NDB Media. Want to thank everyone for joining us. It is a beautiful and glorious afternoon or evening, I suppose. Today is December 8th, 2023. Let's just get to it. You know who I am. I'm Roger. You know who that guy is over there. That's Michael. And we want to welcome our special guests this evening. We're going to be talking about some of their stuff and what they have going right now. We're going to do the A to Z. Oh, wait a minute. I think that's where the movie is, on A to Z on Amazon. But we'll see. All right. If you laughed at that, it's going to be a good evening. All right. Fair enough. All kidding aside, folks, I do want to welcome Bradley Stryker, who is, I believe, right there. And I do want to welcome his significant other. And we want to welcome Caitlin Stryker as well. How you doing, Caitlin?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing real well. And I guess we're going to get to it. What are we going to be talking about tonight, Caitlin?
I don't know.
Oh,
Well,
all right. It's going to be a great evening. Bradley, you want to give that one a shot?
uh-huh. I'm guessing from the picture over here behind Michael, we'll talk about sheltering season a little bit.
We're going to be
Yes.
talking about
Mhm.
that one a little bit. And if there's anything else that you want to talk about, we're going to get to that as well. But all kidding aside, folks, if you don't know, it is on Amazon Prime right now. The movie is Sheltering Season. And, well, Michael has seen it. I've seen it. We don't want to reveal very much because what's the point, right? It's there. You want to see it. But we are going to talk about it today. Um, Bradley. Oh, hey, before I get to anything, I'm going to
Hold on, I
forget.
can also say it's also on Tubi.
Oh, on
Oh, I didn't
Tubi
see
as
it on
well.
there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also on Tubi for actually all of North America. Really, it's in Canada and the States on Tubi.
Oh, you know what, folks? I do apologize. I know in the United States it's on Amazon Prime, but it's on Tubi in USA and Canada. Is it also on Amazon Prime in Canada?
I think so. It's
Okay.
also confusing because the people that told me they saw it on Tubi in Canada might have a VIN number to watch it through the US. So I don't.
Hmm.
So I don't. It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it on either or both or none, depending on where you are. There you go.
Excellent. I do want to welcome everyone. Of course, Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. And we already have a little bit of love. Thank you for the Facebook love. Tony Konopka, he's out of the Philadelphia area. Actually, he's all over the place, so it's good. Elizabeth is in Sacramento. We have quite a few people watching us already. Folks, please don't be shy. Let us know who you are and where you hail from. And if you have any questions, comments, hey, you know what to do. Put them in the chat room, and we're going to get to it right now. So the movie is, as we mentioned, it is on Amazon Prime. At least that's where I did see it. Sheltering Season. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on it, and then we can talk about it a bit. And as I mentioned, we don't want to, we want people to watch it, so we want to do the tease in conversation form. So, whichever one of you would like, Caitlin, Bradley, tell us about. Oh, well, first of all, you're in the number one spot, right, Caitlin? This is your movie, right? Your lead.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
I
that
am.
that
Brad.
is cool. Bradley, you play a character. Well,
So
Caitlin, you're
I can actually tell you I think the most interesting way to start the conversation about the movie is how it came about. And
yes.
because ultimately I wrote the movie, directed the movie, and Caitlin's the lead in the movie, and then I play one of the supporting leads in the movie. And essentially, like the beginning of COVID, we were locked in a house with our then how old was he? 4-year-old, 5-year-old son, 4-year-old son, and so like a lot of people started going a little crazy. And Caitlin also had the joy of being with me, who doesn't do well sitting still. And I think we were 2 months in, and I looked at her and I go, I have a great idea. I should write a movie that we can make only right now. And I think her comment was something along the lines of, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Because I thought the whole movie business was changing to where we couldn't have people in the same room." So she said, "Go ahead and write it," and I said, "Then we'll make it." And she didn't like that part.
Well, no, I was okay. I was okay with it. I was
You
like,
didn't like the making it?
She didn't like me thinking it was a good idea for myself to pay for it.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, here we go again. But I also was like, it's a great idea. We should do something versus, because the film industry was completely shut down. So we couldn't work at all. And then we had friends in other industries and they were doing really well, working and kind of their industries were booming through COVID. And Brad came up with this idea and I was like, yeah, we have to do something. Like we can't just sit around and wait for things to come back around for us. I had this feeling that we would be really disappointed in ourselves if we did, so I was like, let's take action into let's just take our destiny into our own hands, and make something. And Brad very quickly wrote an incredible script. And so it went from, an idea to something that we were acting on really, really quickly. And I produced it along with two other women, Kalina Kiff and Amanda Verhagen, and they're amazing. And Kalina is actually probably the biggest reason that the project took off and started really happening. But the biggest reason that happened was because she read the script that Brad wrote and was like, this is an incredible script.
Well,
we have to make this movie.
And what can be said is this whole idea of like, Caitlin's right. We had some friends that were really prospering during COVID, and we said they were in industries that were thriving because of, that. And we decided it would be possible for us to do it too if we could just create something. And so I wrote this script that, I've been writing for at that point, maybe 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
And so the idea of churning out a script quickly was not too far-fetched. I think I'd written 26 movies at that point. And so when I had an idea, I go, oh, this would be interesting to tell this story in this format, which means it had to be socially distanced.
Right.
And that's why there is a through line in the movie. That is a Zoom happy hour phone call. We were all doing them at the time. Yeah. But I was also like, that's not enough to make the movie. It's just a nice backbone to keep the characters separate. Mm-hmm. And then, I came up with this idea, and I think I can give away this without giving away too much of the movie. But essentially the idea being you have a woman who's Caitlin, who's dealing with this second year anniversary of losing a very young child. Their, I think, 5-year-old son in the script. And 8 minutes into the movie, there's a knock at the door, and the half brother, who is me, shows up, who's also the man responsible for the death of the child. And then now you've got these two characters locked into a very, confined space together, and he wants forgiveness, and he's asking of her something that she doesn't know that she can do, even though she does care about him as her brother. Anyway, so it's this interesting idea because if you really pay attention to how I cast Caitlin, who has a husband in the movie, not me, my buddy, yes. our good friend Teach. And I was playing her brother, who was going to spend the most amount of time with her because we were in each other's bubbles. Mm-hmm. So
that's what I was going to ask. The people that you got, to play the other parts that were on the other end, were they actually in a bubble anyway, or did they have to form their own bubble when you were filming?
By the time we were shooting, no one had to form a bubble. In BC, we were like kind of past that.
No. Every single person cast in the movie, except for Patrick Gilmore and Olivia Chang, were already in each other's bubbles,
including crew.
Oh,
including crew.
Yeah, wow. So like Teach Grant, who plays my husband in the movie, his wife was our set designer. So she could be around, because they were in a bubble together, the two of them. So we did everyone had that.
It was the way it was. So like Ogum and Juan, who played, so you have Patrick and Olivia played one couple, and Ogum and Juan and their two kids, they're the couple with the kids in the movie. That was their actual family. And they had talked about putting their kids in film. They're both professional actors, very wonderful actors. And so we put them in as well. But the idea was in my brain, this is the only way you can make a movie anymore. And so when we actually went to camera for this movie, from the moment I wrote it to the moment we went to camera was 2.5, 3 months.
Wow.
And yeah, it was very fast turnaround. And it was also, I don't know, I mean, I believe in luck a little bit, but it was definitely that I've been writing for a long time. But the luck of it was that I actually somehow churned out a good first draft, which anybody that writes knows that's not the case.
That
usually.
isn't, no.
You know, and even, and I'll be honest, 20, if I've written 30 movies, which I think I have, 29 of them were not good first drafts. You know, this is the one. But when we actually, by the time we went to camera on the film, some of the rules had changed, which I think Caitlin was alluding to, but because it was written and created in a certain way, we just went with it. And we kept that as the through line. And Amanda came on. And when Amanda came on, she'd already got the paperwork approved for the COVID protocols on a Hallmark movie or a movie of the week. So she just submitted that paperwork again for us. And we were the first independent film in Canada, I think, that got the go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, we were.
July.
She knew what she was doing.
July
amazing.
2020? Is that what it would have been?
Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we started end of June 2020.
Yeah, end of June 2020.
No.
July. It was mid-July 2020, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right when they said you could start to think about filming again, we started rolling cameras. We're like, all right, here we go. And you know, ultimately, it took longer to finish the movie because of, you know, the world opened up again and all these other things. But the movie was kind of made with friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at the cast and you look at what the cast has done since and before, this cast couldn't have been put in a movie like this 2 weeks after we were shot. Half of them were back on shows.
Right. Yeah. Because when everything opened up, it was like it opened up.
And everybody went back to work and getting paid good money. And I would have never held anybody to it if they needed to go do something, but it just so happened that still nobody was working. And it was really fun because people were very grateful to show up and do it. And it was not an easy shoot. It's only 11 days.
That was it?
11 days.
Oh, my.
That's short.
Very
for that.
And here, let me even make it more ridiculous. Because
please.
I don't know how it could be. Well, I know something could be more ridiculous, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, listen, the first feature film I ever did as an actor was 96 pages in 4 days. So I think I've already beat that from my introduction into this business was absurd.
Yeah.
But when we went to and we mapped out the shooting schedule, all of a sudden I realized the Zoom call was not like do coverage on one family, turn around and do the other family. It was another house.
It was actually turned out to be more.
So you had to repeat the Zoom calls 3 times. So if it was 100-page script and 40 pages of it was Zoom, you had to do 40 pages at 3 different locations.
Yeah.
So
did you just have one camera crew then? Or that would do it. Okay.
2 other couples shot their entire movie in 2 days. So what I told them was you need to rehearse this like a play. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, you need to be able to just, if I asked you to do the whole thing as one show, you need to be ready for that. And I trust these actors. They're all professionals. And to be honest, I think they liked the idea because they had been waiting to work again.
Yeah.
And they killed it because we had 19 and 20-page days for them, which is absurd.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
That's quite a bit, yes.
Yeah. But we made it happen and we pulled it off. And that's everything to do with the crew, Adam Kane, the producers, Caitlin and Colleen and Amanda. I mean, honestly, it was wild to see it happen, and it was wild that it was possible because it was a very steep hill and a very big ask.
But you all delivered, and I have to tell you, when I was watching the movie, I felt the foreboding, or not that's lame, but I felt the pressure picking up. I knew something was going on. I have to tell you that it felt very real. I mean, come on, we're all in the moment. We're not far removed from what happened just 2-3 years ago. So it was real. The footage that was used, I mean, come on. It's like we saw that. We lived through it. It added to it. It was a wonderful choice. Not that I'm anyone to comment on the choice of the movie, but it worked. And I have to tell you that I had an idea, since you mentioned already your son in the movie. I think when the phone call started and the kids were on, I'm like, oh my God, Lily lost her child.
Yeah.
and I was betting, and sure enough, I figured that one out early. I got one right,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
seeing how it was a subtle progression in the background, I don't know how all of you did it. Michael, I haven't had a chance to talk with you about the movie, but did you feel that as well? That we knew something was going on in the background. I mean, obviously, Caitlin, you played it off very well with uh, Teach Grant.
Mhm.
I didn't know that he was the husband until he finally went on the video call. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, all right, he's somewhere else." Yeah, okay, duh. We did this in the real world as well. Look, it again, forgive me. It was really well done how it was building up, and then of course the knock on the door. The whole idea, which was not too far fetched, is the roving. What was it? The not malicious. Were they malicious? Is that what you call them?
Basically, yeah, right?
Well, so what's weird about it is every single thing I put in the movie, minus one thing really, which I'll hint at in a minute,
Sure.
was actually kind of ripped from the headlines.
Yeah.
It was all real things. So like there's my character gets out of the mental institution a
Yeah.
little early because they were doing that for real in the South.
They were, yeah.
They're releasing people. They go, we have let's say we have 25. We really safely can have 16. Which 9 need to go? Letting them go. And so these were all very real things. And it was quite interesting how some of the things that I kind of put in the movie ended up even coming true, because it wasn't necessarily my intention to predict the truth. And there was a point in post-production when we were in the middle of doing post-production when the movie was actually too close to being reality that people were like, then the things that I didn't bet correctly on, the couple facts that I made up, because I made up a bunch of stuff and some of it came true, became, oh, that's not true. I don't get it. Is it real or not? Because too many of the other things had come true, which I found interesting. And one of the things was these militias that popped up. And the militias decided that they were going to self-govern wherever, mostly in rural places. They were going to take care of their people wherever they were. And so I put that in, and the idea of a curfew. It happened in different countries. They put a curfew in. Certain counties did it too.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything was actually pulled from reality and then, of course, dramatized to make a movie out of it.
Yes.
It's structured in a way where you believe these opposing forces could actually make sense. And then in the movie, obviously needing that big twist, or that twist at the end that you go, oh, whoa, what happened or what didn't happen? Yes.
Well, yeah, that's when I wanted to throw something at the screen right then, Bradley.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I actually yelled at you, Caitlin, watching the movie, because the knock on the door, we had just mentioned the militias, and then Teach says, "Hey, look from the window. Don't open the door." And
Yeah.
then you just went, you were right there in the middle of the window. I'm like, "Come on, Lily. Come on. Hide behind the curtain or something." I mean, it was kind of funny. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, it was good. I was actually caught up in the movie right there. And very quickly, before we continue on that, I do want to give a shout out, as I mentioned, to Elizabeth and Leslie Diana. She had commented earlier. This is really cool. Leslie, let us know who you are. Well,
I know who she is.
Okay, well, all right. I know it's dumb. Hey, Leslie Diana, let us know who you are. Okay, we already know. And where you hail from. And Greg, good evening. Bradley, Caitlin, Michael, and yeah, that would be me. But okay. So we want to welcome everyone. And again, let us know where you are. And if you have any other comments or anything, go with it. But yes, Lily, I did. My heart was pounding because it was real. Go ahead. I cut you off. I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were going to say something right now, Caitlin.
Oh, no,
Anyway,
laughing.
about that scene, I did. I was like, "What are you doing?" You should have peeked around the corner. But it was good. You recognized who it was, but still didn't know who it was. You just there was a recognition there, and it was a buildup. It was very well done, and obviously, we don't learn early on what Brooklyn. And and I like the nickname. Obviously, duh, Brooklyn BK. Okay, I get that. It was good. We don't find out too much later what happens and eventually how it happens. And there's a secret that's revealed by you through Brooklyn when you're on the video call. And then there was another secret that Teach Grant had to reveal at the very end. And there was more to it, which it was really good. The ending, we're not going to comment. All I can say is that I expected to see something, then it went dark, and then we all went. I'm like, oh, okay, duh.
Right?
I mean, we actually still don't know. There might be a part two, or maybe a prequel to.
Are you thinking about doing a part 2 or no?
I mean,
No.
was it resolved? And I don't want to revolt. I don't
No,
want to give
I
anything
don't
away.
want to give it away to people. No.
I mean, how many times have we seen people say, "Well, you didn't see it on screen, did you?"
Well, I mean, the ending is very intentional. My sort of
Yeah.
intention there was to allow you guys to come up with your own answer. I know mine, but I'm never going to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fair, and that's good to get this conversation going. I do want to give what I told Michael. I was expecting to see, and again, folks, hopefully this doesn't give anything, but I expected to see, something like a flash. That's all I'm going to say. But
There's a
I
lot of
expected to see it.
conversations about different ways to do it.
Well,
And
right, yes.
some of them could have given more information that would have alluded to something, still could have left questions in your head. I had an idea which was far more dramatic for what we could have done. And ultimately, I just really ended on, oh, how interesting is it? Black, some sound, and then you get to be left with that to decipher and figure it out. Of course, some people I knew would hate it and be frustrated by it. I personally find it rather intriguing. So that's how we
I
landed.
believe it worked. Michael and I did comment about that just before we went live, and my thing was like, okay, duh, okay, they did it that way, but I'm not trying to minimize it.
But do you
It's
guys
just
have an answer what you think it is?
We can't.
Well, I don't want to say it because it will
we
ruin it for
don't want to
people.
ruin it for
Yeah.
your audience. That's going to be
No, I don't
watching
want
this.
you to tell me what it is, but do you think you know?
Okay, I'm going to put it in the private chat.
I
Okay, I'm going to put it in the private chat. That's for all of us.
I
That's
love
for us
it.
right here.
This is the information I want as the writer director. I love to hear what
This
you
is
think.
cool. And folks, sorry, but if you've seen the movie and if you haven't, blast it, watch it right now.
Yeah.
And you can see what's going on. But it is available. And all kidding aside, while I type my answer, Caitlin and Bradley, would you give us your Instagram, which is down there, but for some reason our audience appreciates it when our guests give their Instagrams, because when I do it, I butcher it. So why don't you
Yes.
do that while I type my answer right now?
Yeah, no problem. I'm at Kate Stryker, but it's CAIT Stryker.
Striker with a Y.
Yeah.
And Bradley, Bradley, Stryker, Stryker.
Is
Yep.
there another way to spell Bradley?
Yeah, Bradly.
Oh.
So did we get
Or
that
with an
correct
I.
right there?
Yes,
at the
it's
bottom
I
of the
pulled
screen?
it right from the
Right on the
website.
banner. Yeah.
Yeah. I just read something earlier that said something, it was talking about the movie and it spelled my name with an I.
Yeah, see, I've seen it with an I. See, that's
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
people butcher my name all the time, but that's to be expected. But yours, that's
and no relation to the Stryker Medical Company. If you think they were funding the movie,
Oh,
I
Oh,
would
did they send you some money?
I wish.
Right.
I wish.
okay. The other reason why I put that is because for those of us that have seen the movie, it's Galaxy Quest, which is the take on Star Trek. There's a scene where there's a countdown, and they do what they have to with about 12 seconds, and they get it done, but it still keeps counting down, and it stops like at 0.1. And they're like, oh, that's right. That's what always happens in the TV show. So I'm being a bit sarcastic when I say, had to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I believe. I don't know if Michael's going to go ahead and put a comment in there. And if anyone else who has actually seen the movie, you know what we're talking about. What do you think happened? This is kind of cool. This is cool. Everyone in the audience, we don't have to highlight the comment for everyone else who hasn't seen it. But I do appreciate that Greg did comment. I live in rural Maine. It was very relatable being isolated during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Let me ask
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, check that out. Michael has some. Okay. All right. Maybe we can speak about it off air. But maybe there won't be an answer
There might not be.
if there's something else in the works.
No.
So, yeah. Look at that little smile. Actually, that's not a little smile. It's a big smile.
I love it.
So who knows? This is cool. This is really cool, folks. We've got quite a few people watching. Please let us know who you are and where you hail from. I want to take a quick moment. Wow, it is December 8th, 2023. You know what's going on. It's Friday night in America here on the NDB Media Network, and we have our wonderful guests. I know it only has one name up there, but we have Caitlin Stryker and we have Bradley Stryker, and in the movie that we've been dominating this conversation. The movie is Sheltering Season. Its official debut was in 2022, but as you've been hearing, it started up in 2020. So knowing what it's about, knowing what happened, you really were in the moment. I know I've been waiting to say that. I don't know why, but it really happened that way. Caitlin is plays a character of Lily. Bradley is BK, otherwise known as Brooklyn. And before I turn it back over to Michael and maybe he reads some other comments, I've had the privilege of speaking to Alex Panuvic before, and I may be pronouncing his name, but he interviewed. And I just want to share with you, he taught me the true meaning of karma. And he performed while he was on the program. I believe he was playing a guitar. And this is when we were doing digital radio only. And I'm curious how you met or came about to having Alex on the program or in the movie. I apologize.
How did we meet Alex?
Well, I mean, Alex is a friend. So, but we spent a lot of time in Vancouver. We live in Vancouver. So it's like Alex is the community, the acting community and filmmaking community in Vancouver is a intimate one. I spent a lot of time in LA and we lived in New York for a while and we hop around a lot. So you kind of get to know the other people that are working actors that you run into each other on sets and everything. And Alex is just a really good guy. Him and Tomo are best friends and they're talking about Bubble. When I called Alex up to say, would you be interested in being in this movie? He goes, yeah. And I said, and I also have I want to put Tomo in it because you guys are kind of married, aren't you? Which is they're best friends. And he started laughing. He goes, oh, yeah, it is true. We see each other all the time. But so he was one of my first phone calls just because he's a good buddy and I knew he'd be perfect for the part. So that's the short answer to a long story about just like running into each other around town. And at one point we were all members of a group of actors who met every Friday morning, kind of like the group theater in New York, and just went through stuff and did scenes and monologues and talked to each other and had conversations around it. And it's not necessarily about getting a product as much as just working through your process. So there's a lot of sort of nerdy actor stuff that we've done together as well. It's
cool. Appreciate that. And before I get to Michael, in the private chat, Elizabeth, who is ARC54 on screen here, sent you you can see the message right there. So that's cool, man. We're getting some feedback on that.
I like it.
That is neat. Right or wrong, we're getting the feedback. And this is where she sent it. She goes, it's in a private message. I'm like, okay, sorry. So it's good. Michael, anything you wanted to get to? And
well,
yes, please.
I was going to look up Caitlin, but I did look up Bradley. You just either finished a movie, The Order. Did you want to talk about that at all? Or
Sure. It's a movie I did May into June in Calgary, Alberta. It's a Nicholas Hoult, Jude Law film. And I think is her name Journey Smollett? Yeah, is in it as well. It was it's based on a true story about a group of guys in Idaho who essentially it's a white supremacist group that had a very sort of special skill. They were very good at robbing things, banks and armored cars and things, all based on a true story. I play a character named Sam Stinson, who's a guy that they bring in who's ex-military, to teach the guys how to tactically do things the correct way. And the reason why the story's a bit profound is that they essentially their goal was to overthrow the government. Essentially, if I'll put it to this way, some of them are dead, some of them are still in prison. This group of guys, and everything that happened in our world in the last, I guess, 5 years, these guys would feel like it was a big victory and that they did it, that they pulled it off, because their whole goal wasn't to succeed; it was to start a revolution and a movement that would outlast them and become weirdly what America just became. And it's a bit of irony, but the story is, well, it's a good story, and the director Justin Kurzel he's amazing. He's a very talented guy, and the cast was quite amazing. It was I've worked a lot in the last 25 years, and I've done a lot of things, and this is one of those ones that'll go on the top shelf that I won't soon forget about. It was a special movie, and there was a nice bond between Nicholas and Sebastian and George and Philip and myself, the group of guys who are the guys that are doing the forefront of the guys doing the robberies and stuff.
Now, Caitlin, you have, is it Mercy? It's out now, or it's not out yet?
Yeah, that's out.
It's out.
Yeah,
it's on
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
On Paramount Plus. Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that one. I apologize. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's what I want, because I knew there was some others that were new, but I wasn't sure which ones were out and which ones were not.
Who's in there?
I know.
How about a dumb question? Inventing the Christmas Prince. That one's out already, right?
Inventing the Christmas Prince? Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
Yeah, that's good right now during the holidays.
I think in IMDb, Michael, when it lists stars and ratings, it is out. And let me ask you, and you don't have to say anything other than, yeah, it is, or it isn't. There's Defining Moments for you, Caitlin.
Oh.
Is that one out? No. Huh?
Oh, no, that's not out yet. That's a short that we just did.
We did that together.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well, it's already listed in IMDb, but that's it. It's just listed there. And it just dawned on me right now because I see a score for almost every project except for that one. So I may have lucked out on that one or something. No, dude,
Bradley,
we haven't updated it yet.
You wrote Mama Bird, didn't you?
I did write Mama Bird, and she was also one of the leads in that. I keep casting her.
Well, she's handy. She's right there.
Yeah, I'm right here.
She's very handy. She's very talented, and she's not hard to look at. So it's like
there you go. So
you know what I mean? That's a movie I directed. January will be 2 years ago in Louisiana. Ironically, I'm going back to Louisiana to the same studio next week to do an acting job, finish out the year here. But that movie is still being finished right now. You know, as post-production goes, these things can take some time.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to interrupt just very quickly. I do want to welcome Greg, who is in the chat room. He is also with the network here. Greg, thanks for joining us, buddy. And you mentioned that you're out in the rural land. So good evening, young man. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
Greg, where are you?
I'm in central Maine, so I'm probably about halfway between Lewiston and Augusta. So other side of the country from Vancouver.
Where did I just shot a movie this summer, in Western Massachusetts, and we ended up in Kittery, Maine for dinner.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
That is cool. Now, since Greg joined us, I want to know if he has any questions or comments as well, or he's just going to join the conversation. But Leslie, Diana, you beat me to it. But I didn't ask this question because I know that Michael is always prepared and our guests give us information. So I was like, oh, damn it, I ran out of time. I better read the bios. I'm sorry. So I hadn't asked it. But since Leslie already did, duh. How did both of you meet? And if you did give us the information and your agent, which almost assuredly did, sorry. Leslie asked the question.
I don't think that's out there in public knowledge.
How did Bradley and Caitlin meet?
Yeah, I always say we met the old-fashioned way. We met at a bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were perfect strangers, had no friends in common or anything, and literally just met. We were sitting beside each other at bar stools at a lounge bar restaurant, and I said hi.
She picked me up.
I did.
Oh wow, that is cool.
And
Yep. I was busy watching football, which some of you might understand. I didn't have no time. No time.
Did you even acknowledge her when she said hi?
he did.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Was it touchdown
There was,
Yeah,
a,
or
right?
score?
there was actually a preface to the story, which is that before she said hi to me, her friend at the bar nudged me when she was in the bathroom and said,
No,
"What
that
are
was
you?"
after I said hi to you. After we were talking.
Because she said to me at one point,
Here
"What are
we go.
you doing? You're her type."
I know. That's after we were talking for a while.
Oh, then you went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caitlin was 23 years old and wearing a very nice black mini skirt and looking adorable. And I was just some dude watching football being an idiot.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, why in the world is she talking to me? But I did quit watching football pretty quickly and followed her around for the rest of the night. So there is that.
You
So
did.
yeah.
So you don't know how the game turned out then?
Who
not
cares?
a clue. Not a clue. Not a clue. No. Yeah, but you know, I guess it turned out pretty well, huh? It didn't matter.
Look what happened. And
So
how
I
long
guess-
and how long ago was this that you met?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We met at the end of 2009.
It was a long time
So
ago.
it's like a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and you know, it was interesting. The timing was, it's not too much information. I had just gotten out of a very long relationship, and so I was just gonna watch football for a long time by myself, and then I met her, and I was like, this is not good timing. I'm watching football for the next 10 years alone. And of course, 3 months later we started dating, and then now I'm married.
That is cool. I get an on-air reprimand from Elizabeth. No fair. I let Greg on. I'm like, hey, he came in on his own. So, Elizabeth,
Crash.
take a lesson there, Liz. But hey, it's all good. That is a cool story. So, Leslie, do you have a follow-up for that one? But that is such a cute story. That is cool. So, when you guys met in the bar, so is this a life imitates art or art imitates life type story?
In what way?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Well, oftentimes we see the leads in the story, they meet in a bar, and then okay, so how would this be? This has to be, you know, art imitating life, right? Because it really happened to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it would be. Are there any scenes in any movies that you've been on together that go to a bar and there's a subtle nudge, like maybe pointing to it, and then that's it?
I was like, no, because whenever we're in, because he's always the bad guy, and I'm always the good guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that in the movie or is that at home?
In like in
Just
movies,
kidding. Sorry.
Grace,
but also
basically
at home.
everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
in general. Exactly.
And this is 100% of the time. It's definitely a nice balance. So because myself and my son move very quickly, it's the simple things. We wake up and we're 110 miles an hour, and she's like, "Leave me alone for 20 minutes."
Just need a runway into the day.
And
I'm
20
not, like,
minutes is
ready
being
to-
generous on it. More like 35. But point being is that it's a nice balance because Kaylin runs at a much lower vibration, and mine's a little bit too high sometimes. So she kind of brings me down, and maybe I bring her up a little bit. But
yeah, we balance each other out.
it's also how we're able to make, because honestly, if she wasn't around, I would have made 4 other really bad movies in between all the movies I have made, because I just couldn't stop myself. And I'd just be maxing out credit cards all over the place, just going crazy, being a crazy person. And she
Caitlin, do you have to take his credit cards away after a while, or?
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
it was funny. I'm not sure if you caught it, Greg, but Caitlin did comment about doing the movie and the cost early on. When you're gonna do the movie again? You said something along those lines, like we're gonna pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I think the reality of the business is you have to bet on yourself. You've got to, especially now, you do have to make your own projects, and you got to put your own money into it. And people will say that you should never do that.
Mhm.
But if you don't do that, then you're not ever going to get anything of your own off the ground, because other people aren't going to give you money without proof that you can do it well, you know,
that you can deliver the product.
Investment. Yeah. And that they're going to get their money back with some interest, right? In some way. That's the business side of the business. So you have to build up your own portfolio as a filmmaker. And then I think we're both working actors, but it boosts our portfolio and our profile as actors by doing our own projects and everything. And we just get to be creatively involved and more fulfilled all the way along, instead of waiting on someone else to give us permission to do what we love to do. So I do always, when he's like, oh, we're going to make another movie, I go, oh God, there goes another house down payment.
Yeah, but also you have so much more control when it's your project and you don't have to answer to the money people.
Exactly. And it's really, it's incredibly fulfilling and empowering. And I think more people need to throw away the old advice of don't invest in your own film. I think you have to invest in yourself.
Yeah, you really do. You really do.
Yeah.
I've done it. Yeah.
Even though it's terrifying, and we could probably own a really nice house by now if we had
or two.
Well, if we're here having the conversations, if those views keep going up on Amazon and on Tubi, you never know. And look, guys, forgive me for saying, I'm not playing up to you. I did enjoy the movie. I really did.
Thank
you. It was good. And just the problem is, since you don't have an advertising budget, that's what you're up against. So that's why we do these. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I just saying you're right. Like major films have massive marketing budgets, and it takes a lot of effort to break through all the noise that's out there.
I mean, I will say with this one, we had a really good distributor.
We did,
and our sales agent, Cut Entertainment, did a good job, and they got it in the hands of Vertical Entertainment, who ultimately distributed it. And Vertical's got a really wonderful reputation. Mm-hmm. I was at Sundance with another movie last year, and they were there and buying movies at Sundance and other things, and so they were able to at least get it in front of people like Tubi, who ended up buying it, and some other things that would not have happened otherwise. So there's a little bit of power for an independent filmmaker in that way. But ultimately, I learned on the first one, I had to be smarter about how I chose my distributor and sales agents. But then also beyond that, it was just more about, it can't be about that. It needs to be about making something you're proud of, putting it out in the world however you can, and moving on to the next. Yeah. You can't sit around and hold on to, because I know a lot of people that make one and they hold on too much to however it is perceived or how it is distributed. And it's a business then, and you have no control over it. And just because everybody sees it or likes it doesn't mean it's good. And just because, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't, as many times like this movie's won some awards, it doesn't mean it's great in that regard either. I don't read good or bad press. I just keep making, keep going. And I think that's the best way to go, really.
Yeah. And I encourage him to do that, even though I do take the credit card sometimes, and I'm like, oh, wait. Let's just double check.
We didn't pay for anything on Mama Bird. That was fully financed outside of us, because you've improved yourself. People go, wow, these people know what they're doing.
You have to prove yourself.
And now it's just I've got my name attached to a bunch of other things that I'll be directing. Then none of them will have anything to do with our money. It's all moving forward outside of that. But we had to put some risk up for a couple of years to get there.
Just one project, like Brad said, it takes a couple. It takes a few. You got to keep moving forward. Yeah.
Have you thought about crowdfunding for another project, or you don't want to go that route?
I mean, we would have done that with these first two.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of, I don't want to say beyond it, but I've moved beyond it, where there's people with money that will pay for things.
Crowdfunding is an awesome, a great way to go, and it's
Absolutely.
an awesome tool to use for independent filmmakers out there. Mm-hmm. It really opens up so many doors.
It does. And also, like, there's a thing about, because we work on, I just finished today, which is why I showed up right on time. I just wrapped a TV show I was working on, which is a Disney CBS. I'm not going to talk about it, but I just did this.
Disney ABC.
Yeah, that's two different competitors right there.
I know. I think
That's right. Very good.
Oh, I actually think it's Disney and it's on CBS. I know, it's crazy.
Oh, hold your ground, Bradley. Way to go. Way to
I
go.
do actually believe I'm speaking the truth. But so it's actually the budgets on these things are bonkers. They have so much money.
Oh, it's crazy. It's
And so-
absolutely crazy.
And you look at that and you go, that's one thing. And I can do that too. That'd be wonderful. But I also know how to go, okay, we have a very finite amount of resources. How do we get this done and how to get it done that way too? And what's interesting is I've watched the film business very slowly and into quickly moving in that direction on all accounts, where they expect big name people to be doing it on a smaller budget just because selling movies is a new and more difficult sort of landscape to navigate.
Yeah.
And so I've developed some skills that are very useful to people now. How do you make a movie like Sheltering Season without a ton of money?
Mhm.
And once you figure out how to do that, you go, okay, I can do it. There's a lot we can pull off now that is intrigues people, but also is very viable in today's market because a lot of people don't want to push that big chunk of money in anymore.
No.
So,
Yeah.
And as
Timing
Roger
was
said,
perfect.
advertising budget. That if you don't have that, sometimes in some of these big productions, it's very difficult, especially if you paid a bunch of money to make the movie. So,
Yeah.
Greg, did you want to jump in?
Oh, yes. Sorry. The timing was perfect for Sheltering.
Yeah.
Making it during the pandemic, talking about the pandemic, but pushing it further out, with, the limited locations, limited sets, limited, how much you were showing because most people were on the Zoom. It was, very effective to be able to do low budget, almost like found footage type films. It was very effective at storytelling. And I did catch earlier before I came in mentioning of how you wanted everybody to memorize it like a play, and the emotions I think really came through.
Yes.
It came out very naturally,
Mhm.
and it was quite impressive actually.
there's the other thing I always do, and I did with this, is like Caitlin and I could easily rehearse our scenes because obviously we live together. But even with the other actors, I got together with them and we just went through the scenes and talked because when you don't have time and your homework is everything. And so
Yes.
having had conversations with people I've worked with before, whether it be in the theater or movie or TV show, I've worked with almost everybody in the cast. So having had conversations with them about different scenes and things, when we showed up, it was like the wheels were already greased. We were ready to go. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of time spent figuring it out. It had been figured out. And then it was just about playing with nuances on set, which was the only way to do it, really.
Yeah, it definitely was really well done. I want to take a quick moment and give a shout out to Sonia. I'm so sorry, Sonia Robles. Am I getting gas from coffee? I'm so sorry. I don't know how that's happening. Sonia Robles gave us a like as well, and someone by the name of Elizabeth Olivia Cooper, as well as the aforementioned Tony Konopka. Thanks for the likes there. Leslie mentioned, and I think you did answer it, maybe not, or what didn't mention, but she did ask. And before I go to that, you guys can read that. Greg, you've seen the movie, correct?
Honestly, I only got to
Oh.
watch about 25 minutes of it.
Okay, well, fair enough, because I was going to ask you.
So I got
was-
to watch like almost right up to the point where Teach's character starts going down the river in the canoe just as curfew hits.
Okay, got it. All right, fair enough. I was going to ask him what his thoughts were about the ending, but
Yeah.
we won't get to that right now.
Well, email us later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I
all right,
will.
fair enough. Was Caitlin acting as well when the two of you met? And we know they were both surfing the bar. We know that. One was watching football, and what were you doing there, Caitlin?
I was actually out to so I was acting when he and I met. We did very quickly discovered we were in the same industry and everything. It was 2009. I don't know if cuffing season was a term yet in slang world, but it was November It was November, and I was like, well, I better go out. And I was single, and my girlfriend and I were decided we were gonna go out and meet a few different guys that night to like have on rotation through the winter.
Oh wow. Good for you.
Yeah. And so actually
Oh,
he
wow.
screwed up my plans because he followed me around for the rest of the night. And I remember looking at my girlfriend and being like, I've already got that one on the hook. How am I going to meet another guy? If he's following me around, I'm not going to be able to get another one going in order to, like, you know, not get lonely.
You
through the
believe
winter.
this? This is unbelievable.
Yes, and it's live.
Yeah,
No
my
editing.
No editing.
relationship. We were
I'm
both-
sorry, did we ruin it? This is live. It's around the world right
I, don't
now.
know, I think I might have to go soon.
That is so cool. But obviously things changed. And that is a wonderful story,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
We make plans and God laughs. Isn't that what they say, right?
Yes, definitely. Well, look, you guys have a lot of other stuff that's going on, and you have as well. I'm saddened that we don't have a chance to discuss all of it, but I do want to say we are short. This is strange. We're the ones that are short on time, unbelievably. But I also know that it's Friday night.
Yeah.
And you still have time. You committed to a Friday night interview, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you have plans. And even if you don't, you want to spend time together, far be it from us to ruin it. But I do. This is a hard ask. Don't worry. We'll work through your agent. But we would love to have you guys back to talk about some of your other projects. And as the other stuff comes to fruition, we would be humbled and thrilled to be able to assist you in a small way to help get word out. We do have a small audience. NDB Media has crossed lifetime about 1 million views. So over all of our networks and stuff,
Congratulations.
we're very tiny. But hey, the views are because of you guys. So
Fantastic.
everyone who assents to, I've been told people call this program what do they say? It's because you have to spend hours on with us. So I think we're
Some
letting you.
do.
Yeah, we've had guests up to 3-4 hours. So
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
the conversations just happen. All kidding aside, think about it, guys. I know you're saying, "Oh my God, we've been on for 52 minutes." For us, it's like it
That's
went like
nothing.
that. It went
Well,
like
listen, it'll be our pleasure to come back on.
Yeah.
And it'll be even our pleasure times two once we get Mama Bird finished. And we're going to put
Yeah.
that out.
Oh, we would love to have you on for that one. Mhm.
I would actually like to have it. We do that one. I want to have her and the other two leads.
Oh, absolutely. We
Oh,
love.
are you expecting us to say no?
Um,
I mean,
just-
did
just
you
so-
want me to prostate myself right now?
Just so you know how crazy we are,
We'll do it.
we got. Are you familiar with
We come across as
the
desperate.
Ark from the Sci-Fi Channel, the TV show?
Oh, no.
Well,
I'm not. No.
it's filmed in Serbia, but anyway, we had 8 of the cast on at the same
Fantastic.
time on this show. 8.
Fantastic.
It was crazy, but it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
interaction and it was just wonderful. Yeah.
Since you're writer, director, and lead, both of you, hey, if you want to bring on some of the other cast, we would easily accommodate, and we can have a tic-tac-toe type event.
Exactly.
Have everyone on.
Please.
Greg commented. Sorry about that. He said, Bradley and Caitlin, I also really enjoyed the Lost in Space and Clarice shows you had roles in.
Yeah.
You did.
I said there's lots to talk about.
And oh my God, I can't believe it. I apologize, but we did. I'm sorry, we're running out of time. I can't believe
Oh,
it.
good.
No worries.
Listen, we have an
Okay.
8-year-old
Yeah, we have-
downstairs that's
yeah.
ready for a pizza party, so
Yeah.
we all win.
Oh, so you guys do have plans. Good for you.
Oh, yeah.
All
Absolutely.
kidding aside, we are humbled. We are thankful because we also know it's your time, and we're blown away when our guests say yes. It's like, holy crap, someone said yes. Just kidding. No. Well, sometimes yes, but
Sure.
we are thrilled and humbled. And like I said, if we are able to assist you, we would gladly. And you want to just, as they say, shoot the breeze. We'd be thrilled and would love to have you guys back on and talk about some of your other projects.
It's
And,
like the kitchen
the
table of
Gauntlet!
blog interviews.
I've been told this program is called The Gauntlet because
The Gauntlet.
Yeah, because we've been on for hours. So anyway, guys, anything else that you want the audience to look out for just before we go?
I'm just going to be honest with you that I usually find out things are airing when somebody tells me they saw it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, and my dad will call me and be like, "You didn't tell me you were in such and such a movie." And I was like, "Oh, it's out. Oh, it's out. That's great." There's a bunch of things we're both filming right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up first. Actually, the episode I just did, I can even tell you what it is. I just did an episode of a show called The Tracker, which
the new one.
Yeah, it premieres after
in a couple of
the
weeks. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, premieres actually the pilot premieres after the Super Bowl, and I'm in the week after that. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll look forward to that. I was thinking about starting that one when it came out. So.
Yeah.
I saw the promo for it. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
I know. I'm really curious how that actually turns out.
Yeah, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm very intrigued with what's going to happen with the Order, because it's just got Justin's a special director, and I think he's going to make a special film. And then I did make a really interesting film this summer called The Greatest Ever. I really got along incredibly well with the rest of the cast and the director, Steve and stuff. And it's a man who generally self-distributes his movies, which is quite interesting. He's figured out a bit of how to finesse things, and the movie actually has two young women, I guess, or girls. I don't know what you're supposed to call them, that are the leads. Very talented. Yeah, I don't know where it's offensive or not. They're teenagers. They're not even teenagers, or maybe they are. I don't know. Almost, but they're very talented. And one of them is a sort of a musical theater, and she has a singing through line in this movie. And when she started singing in one of the scenes, it was just astounding. This little girl can sing. So that'll be a special one too. I don't know when it comes out again. They often don't tell us. So
we find out later. I'm currently filming A Case for the Winemaker with Candace Cameron Bure that'll be on the Great American Family Network, but I'm not sure when it comes out because we're currently filming it. We're in the middle of shooting. So.
Understood. Yeah. And as Greg said, 4 episodes for you, Clarice, on Clarice, right? You were 4 episodes, and Bradley, you were 2 episodes of Lost in Space as well, right? That's what it was. Yeah. That is, I actually do remember you now. I had forgotten. I enjoyed that series. I'm gonna have to watch Clarice. Damn it! All right, that's another.
Clarice is dead. Caitlin was really good in that. I was bummed it got canceled.
Yeah,
I was too. That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I think there was a lot more to explore there.
Yeah,
it was definitely.
Yeah.
The whole cast was great.
Like Absolutely. Right? Yeah, people were really the show. It just kind of got lost in the business side of things.
Oh, Clarice got lost in space. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that. That was lame. I admit that. To be honest with you, that was lame. Okay.
You almost made it.
Yeah, isn't that funny? We would love to have you guys back. You guys are so gracious. I can't wait to see a lot of the stuff that you're going to be doing moving forward. We're fans. We're even bigger fans now. Everyone in the audience, we're going to be watching out. We cannot wait to see what else is coming. And it also helps to have a little bit more money to tell bigger stories, right?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So we wish you the best, and we thank you. And
thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. So I'm going to end the program now. And here we go. So everyone, ndbmedia.net. You see their Instagram links down at the bottom. You know what to do.